Are you wanting high-speed internet but don't have access to PUD fiber? Try Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet from LocalTel. Call 888-8888 today. It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Grant Olson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCW Life Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window, and really not a bad day today. Temperatures mainly in the middle to upper 30s around north central Washington. Even some sunshine as we look at some blue sky down at the Columbia River and the mountains in the background. It wasn't a bad day, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy a lot of tomorrow because we do have changes on the way coming this weekend. In fact, a very large winter storm is headed our way, which will impact us this weekend. We'll see heavy mountain snow on Saturday, and that could mean another foot of snow over some mountain passes with possible avalanche dangers. We'll also see some snow here in the lowlands as well, especially on Saturday into Sunday, which will turn over to rain. And then by Monday, we could be talking a little bit about flooding in some rivers and streams around Washington, and we'll get to more on that coming up a little bit later on in our weather forecast. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Production has begun on a 100th anniversary apple blossom documentary, and how the tree fruit industry will be impacted by the new federal tax law. But first, we begin tonight. Ballots go out tomorrow for two measures up for vote in the Kashmir School District. One is a 2-year replacement maintenance and operations levy, and the other is a bond to help fund technology, safety, security, and health-related issues at some school facilities. School Superintendent Glenn Johnson says the high school in particular is aging and needs the upgrades.
Well, as you see this building, it's really structurally sound, and it's been well maintained. It was built well in 1981 and built in a quality fashion, but its systems and its structures like HVAC, electrical, mechanical are fatigued. Many of our systems have well outlived their life expectancy. We want to do safety improvements. We want to enhance 21st century classes like STEM classes. Heck, in 1981, as we see behind me, we didn't even have special needs kids service in our school district. We were in a co-op in Wenatchee. We take a lot of pride in serving all of our kids. So we want buildings to fit the kids' needs of all kids' needs. And so those are some of the things we want to do and the priorities, and that's what we want to do.
The levy would cost Kashmir taxpayers $1.50 per $1,000 of assessed value. The special election is on February 13th. Production has started on a film documenting the 100-year anniversary of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival, thanks to the help of Stamilk growers. Festival Administrator Darcy Christofferson made the announcement yesterday in a Facebook post.
Hi everyone! We have two big announcements for you today. As most of you probably heard, Apple Blossom will be celebrating its 100th anniversary in 2019. In December, we proposed the idea of creating a documentary with our friends at North 40. Well, we are proud to announce we are doing it! We are doing this project, and we are extremely excited to announce that Stamilk Growers has joined the project as the film's presenting sponsor. With their support, as well as the positive response from our community, we are confidently moving forward with one of our biggest projects to date. We will be creating a significant archive of media that will be highly useful for generations to come. 100 Years of Apple Blossom will feature several stories of royalty, volunteers, and festival goers. We see this as a unique opportunity to research not only Apple Blossom's history, but the Wenatchee Valley as well, to show how we have evolved since 1920. If you want to stay up to date on the film's progress and receive first access to premiere events, join our mailing list by going to appleblossom.org/100.
And speaking of apples, the tree fruit industry will be impacted by the new federal tax law, but it's not yet known what the full extent of those impacts will be. Manson Growers Co-op Manager and Chelan County Commissioner Doug England commented on the new law in a recent NCW Life interview.
There were a couple of tax issues that we were able to take advantage of with the old law. Domestic production credits, for instance, that allowed us some breaks There are some issues now of determining exactly what this new law does for us. That DPAD deduction has gone away, but there are some things that have been put in its place that will allow some pass-through if you're formulated right or formed right with different entities. And so that's still to be determined exactly how that is involved. We do at the warehouse level pay corporate taxes, and so the reduction is very beneficial at this point, but that's all the far that we know so far.
And while the full impacts to the orchard industry are still being digested, employees will likely see more money in their paychecks and less money being withheld by the federal government. The Washington State Department of Ecology is proposing more than $150 million for clean water projects throughout the state, including 2 projects in Kittitas County and 1 each in Douglas and Okanogan County. One project is in Waterville, where the city could get more than $42,000 to repair or replace 3,000 feet of sewer pipe and 10 manholes. Ellensburg could be the big winner in all this and would get more than $2.7 million for stormwater runoff work on one of the busiest streets in the city. For the complete project list, visit the Department of Ecology's website. Coming up next, Senator Brad Hawkins has new legislation moving forward in the state legislature, and the 3rd annual 2-day Regional Salmon Recovery Science Conference wrapped up this afternoon at the Wenatchee Convention Center. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life Evening News.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Hi, I'm Cordell Schroeder, owner of East Wenatchee Mobile Storage.
If you're thinking about making a move anytime soon, check out the East Wenatchee Mini Storage brand new mobile storage service. They drop it off at your location, you pack it, and they pick it up and store it in their protected warehouse at East Wenatchee for as long as you need. When you're ready, they'll drop it off at your new home or office. East Wenatchee Mini Storage is excited to offer this brand new service to our region.
Call 509-884-8643 or find us on the web at ewministorage.com.
Travel enhances your life in every way. Let the travel professionals at Journey Travel and Tours help you plan that dream vacation. Don't leave the important details to those nameless, faceless online agencies. At Journey Travel and Tours, our goal is to build relationships that last a lifetime. And when you do need help, we have a 24-hour helpline that is routed to one of the agents in our office. When you think travel, think Journey Travel and Tours. It's where your journey begins. Like us on Facebook, and you could be one of our monthly winners.
Welcome back. In another news, legislation is moving forward in the Washington State Legislature that authorizes the Department of Natural Resources to approve spending on forest fire reduction work. The measure, sponsored by Senator Brad Hawkins, enables state and federal agencies to partner on forest management and other land-related work. Hawkins says it's another example of how the legislature and the DNR recognize the important connection between improving health of our forests and reducing the risk of mega fires.
It's kind of unfortunate that we have to do some of the work on the federal lands. I wish that our federal partners could be doing this important work, but I think everybody here in the legislature recognizes, as does the DNR, that wildfire knows no jurisdictional boundaries. So the fires that burn, they don't care whether it's state land or federal land. And in order to do the work that we need to do to help reduce our risk of catastrophic fire in this state, we need to partner with the federal government on their federal lands to do this important work. And so this bill that we passed last night to set up the account will not only allow us to process those funds, but it's in some ways very complementary to the forest health legislation that we passed in a very bipartisan way last year that directs the DNR to establish a framework for assessing the fire-prone areas in our state and treating them over 16 years.
Senate Bill 6211 would create an account in the state treasury to process revenues collected under the Good Neighbor Authority Agreement entered into last year between the Department of Natural Resources and the U.S. Forest Service. The third annual two-day Regional Salmon Recovery Science Conference wrapped up this afternoon at the Wenatchee Convention Center. The conference was hosted by the Upper Columbia Salmon Recovery Board with the theme this year, Science of Survival, to reflect the area's continued focus on science related to salmon recovery. Greer Mayer, fisheries biologist with the Upper Columbia Recovery Board, says the theme of this year's conference is really about how salmon survive.
The theme is all about looking deeper into the question of how our fish survive, how they survive in the rivers, how they survive in the main stem Columbia, how they survive in the ocean. And it's really, we have all these advanced technologies to really track fish and look at their survival, and it's great to see some of those results play out today.
And I know you talked to Steve Hare last year at this same conference, and you talked about recovery levels not quite being where you'd want to see them. How has it changed from last year to this year?
You know, we're still in that situation. Actually, the last few years have gotten worse. We had some poor ocean conditions a few years ago, and we're seeing the results of those fish that went out during that time coming back. And so our adult returns are actually fairly low, and they probably will be consistently low for a few years. We also see a big increase in the number of sea lions in the estuary, and a lot of those take our fish. So we still have a lot of challenges, but overall we're a lot better than we were 20 or 30 years ago.
And there's a long-term plan for all of this, right? A 30-year plan?
A 30-year plan, and we're about 15 years into it. We really have these goals set for the number of fish that should come back and be spawning in our river natural origin, our wild fish, and we're working towards those goals. We're protecting and restoring habitat. We're working together. This conference is all about looking at the science and seeing what we can do to get more fish coming back.
Over 350 people attended this year's conference, including research professionals, project sponsors, contractors, elected officials, and various agency representatives. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife Director, Dr. Jim Unsworth, has resigned. NCW Life's Eric Granstrom has the story.
In a press release from the Department of Fish and Wildlife, Unsworth informed the Fish and Wildlife Commission that he will resign his position effective February 7th. Dr. Unsworth has served as Washington's Director of Fish and Wildlife since February of 2015 after 30 years of wildlife management in Idaho. Unsworth has been under pressure from various hunting and fishing advocacy groups as well as environmental protection groups over the last several months for controversial decisions by his agency. Specific problems arose over the recent management plan for Chinook salmon in Puget Sound that angered sports fishermen. The department also came under fire when it euthanized 3 fawns and an elk calf. Fish and Wildlife Commission Chair Brad Smith says his group will name an interim director as soon as possible and will initiate a national search for Unsworth's replacement. NCW Life Channel reached out to Fish and Wildlife Commissioner Dave Graybill of Leavenworth for a comment, but he declined, saying commissioners have been advised not to comment on the issue. For NCW Life Channel News, I'm Eric Granstrom.
You're watching the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up next, your sports update, followed by today's featured story. That and much more still to come right here on the NCW Life Evening News. Stay with us.
Hey, this is Justin at Club Crow Bar and Grill reminding you it's your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Jam sessions and live bands playing a wide range of music. If pool tables or pull tabs are more your thing, we have you covered. Enjoy the fun and food at Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Stop on by today.
Family means something in these parts. Family owned and operated means even more. At Rose Tractor, you're buying more than a product. You're buying years of knowledge through multiple generations. It means you can count on Rose for quality products, quality repairs, and folks who stand behind the products they sell. From your job site to your home to rentals and repairs to new outdoor power equipment, Rose Tractor is growing with you throughout the years. Rose Tractor, quality brands you can trust year after year.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Honey, I got the space heater.
Make sure you survive winter. Call Central Washington Heating and Air before it's too late. This winter, don't get shocked by the cold. Call Central Washington Heating and Air today.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy Thursday, day before the weekend, hockey night tonight on the NCW Life channel. Talk more about that in just a moment. First of all, the Washington State Coaches Association is out with its all-state soccer selections. And in 4A, Wenatchee's Jaden Griggs was a second team selection. For the 1As, Cascade's Ashley Parton was named a first teamer for the Kodiaks. She, along with teammate Lauren Richardson, number 1 here. Also, Cascade's Emily Gaines, number 7 right on your screen, are all-state selections on the second team. Here's the rest of the list. Congratulations to Cascade's Kasha Musket and Victoria Driscoll, 1A honorable mentions. Kashmir also had 4 players make all-state. Bulldogs' Cami Kanishka is a first-team selection, while teammate Chloe Diaz is a second-teamer. Amy Martin and Grace Erdman were honorable mentions. The WIAA is out with its Player of the Week awards. And there you go. Allie Hallberg led the Panthers to back-to-back Big 9 league victories over rival Eastmont and West Valley last week. She scored 28 points in this game we're watching here, as seen live on the NCW Life channel, to go along with 17 boards, 4 steals, and 3 assists versus the Wildcats in that win on Friday night. Hallberg followed that up with a Saturday triple-double, 26 points, 15 rebounds, 10 assists, and 3 steals against the Rams. Congratulations, Allie Hallberg, WIAA Player of the Week. As I mentioned, hockey night tonight on the NCW Life channel, as we'll bring you the Call of the Wild and Clarkie's Corner first at 7 o'clock, followed by the Wenatchee Wild's game against Victoria from last Friday at the Town Toyota Center. Arch Ecker visits with Coach Bliss Littler and asked about lessons learned for his club with having to play from behind.
Early, we really, were concerned that the amount of times that we're having to come back to get wins. We thought that's a good character to have, and we'll be able to build on that later in the year, even though you don't want to make a habit of playing catch-up hockey. But I think you're right. I think our kids realized that we were controlling most of the play, that we're definitely having the better of the chances, that we need to quit putting the puck on their tape in bad situations. But it definitely got entertaining at the end, huh?
More with Coach Littler coming up tonight. Hockey night starting at 7 right here on the NCW Life channel. By the way, the Wild getting ready to take on Merritt this Friday and Saturday at the Town Toyota Center. On the prep schedule for tonight, in Eastmont traveling to Wenatchee for Unified basketball tonight. Be sure to be there to cheer on the Wildcats and Panthers. That starts at 7 o'clock. We'll be there with the NCW Life channel cameras. I'll be there to do the play-by-play. We'll broadcast the game this Saturday night at 7 right here on the NCW Life channel. Also on the prep schedule for today, boys swimming and diving. Eastmont and Wenatchee swimmers were in Moses Lake today for the Big 9 swim meet. That started at 4. We'll have hopefully some scores for you tomorrow morning. Also in basketball, Kashmir hosts Chelan with the girls at 5:45, the boys at 7:15. Edian hosts Moses Lake Christian, while Waterville Mansfield's on the road at Soap Lake, with the girls starting both those games at 6 o'clock, followed by the boys at 7:30. Finally, in wrestling, Kashmir will send some wrestlers to Oroville to grapple with the Hornets and Wilbur Creston. That all starts at 6 o'clock. Again, hockey night coming up tonight on the NCW Life channel. All starts at 7 o'clock with Clarkie's Corner, as well as the Call of the Wild, where Bliss Littler and Arch Ecker sit down to talk about last week's games and what's coming up this weekend, with Merritt coming to town for 7 o'clock. Puck drops at 7 on Friday and Saturday. That's sports. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. In our feature story tonight, it said that laughter is the best medicine. The Eastmont School District organized an event today that combines health and humor.
Hi, my name is Nicole Schmelter with Eastmont Gear Up. I'm here at Sterling K-7 School with our ASB students to welcome you and tell you more about Wellness Day. One of the things I love about Sterling is that in addition to being an awesome place to learn, this school has a great sense of humor. Every day on the announcements, we get to hear funny jokes submitted by Sterling students. So keeping with the tradition of good humor at Sterling, I have asked our first semester 7th grade ASB students to share some jokes and welcome our guest speakers for the Gear Up Wellness Day on Thursday, January 25th.
Does running late count as exercise?
No. Nice try.
Check out these next two activities. They will definitely count as exercise.
We're going to have ropes and obstacles with Tom McRae, Eastmont High School Assistant Principal and Certified Ropes Instructor from Eastmont School District. Yoga with Marianne Lodato, Certified Yoga Instructor from Wenatchee Valley College.
What kind of nuts always have colds?
Cashews!
Speaking of healthy foods, I can't wait to hear about nutrition. We get to make and eat a snack with Tandy Rowland and Errol Gray, certified healthy coaches from Hunter's Wife.
Why did the mother needle get mad at her 7th grade needle daughter?
I don't know.
She was up way past her thread time.
We can't wait to hear from these next presenters. Wellness and Overcoming Obstacles with Gabe Klein, Wenatchee High School Gear Up Site Director from Wenatchee School District.
Wellness and Chiropractic Care from Isabel Sanchez, Team Educator from Rebellia Chiropractic.
Healthy Relationships with Megan Willis, Victim Advocate from SAGE, which stands for Safety Advocacy Growth Empowerment. Vaping and Tobacco Prevention with Haley Croce, Prevention Coordinator from Together for a Drug-Free Youth.
Thank you, ASB students, for welcoming our guest speakers. And thank you, community members, for taking the time to prepare for our Wellness Day and partnering with the Eastmont School District to have a wonderful day of information on Thursday, January 25th.
And we'll be back in just a moment with the recap of some of today's stories and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
Bay Equity Home Loans in Wenatchee, serving all of North Central Washington. We make it our priority to learn all about your financial needs. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or want a reverse mortgage, our mortgage professionals are ready to guide you through the loan process. We have a wide variety of loan products to fit your family's needs. Call Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee today for your pre-approval. 509-888-0466.
Hi, my car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE Master Techs and well-versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're gonna need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare is flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.
Time now for a recap of some of our top stories. The tree fruit industry will be impacted by the new federal tax law, but it's not yet known what the full extent of those impacts will be. Madsen Growers Co-op Manager and Chelan County Commissioner Doug England commented on the new law in a recent NCW Life interview.
There were a couple of tax issues that we were able to take advantage of with the old law. Production, domestic production credits, for instance, that allowed us some breaks. There are some issues now of determining exactly what this new law does for us. That DPAD deduction has gone away, but there are some things that have been put in its place that will allow some pass-through if you're formulated right or formed right with different entities. And so that's still to be determined exactly how that is involved. We do at the warehouse level pay corporate taxes, and so the reduction is very beneficial at this point, but that's all the far that we know so far.
While the full impacts to the orchard industry are still being digested, employees will likely see more money in their paychecks and less money being withheld by the federal government. The Washington State Department of Ecology is proposing more than $150 million for clean water projects throughout the state, including 2 projects in Kittitas County and 1 each in Douglas and Okanogan County. One project is in Waterville, where the city could get more than $42,000 to repair or replace 3,000 feet of sewer pipe and 10 manholes. Ellensburg could be the big winner and would get more than $2.7 million for stormwater runoff work on one of the busiest streets in the city. For the complete project list, visit the Department of Ecology's website. Ballots go out tomorrow for 2 measures up for vote in the Kashmir School District. One is a 2-year replacement maintenance and operations levy, and the other is a bond to help fund technology, safety, security, and health-related issues at some school facilities. School Superintendent Glenn Johnson says the high school in particular is aging and needs the upgrades.
Well, as you see this building, it's really structurally sound, and it's been well maintained. It was built well in 1981 and built in a quality fashion, but its systems and its structures like HVAC, electrical, mechanical are fatigued. Many of our systems have well outlived their life expectancy. We want to do safety improvements. We want to enhance 21st century classes like STEM classes. Heck, in 1981, as we see behind me, we didn't even have special needs kids service in our school district. We were in a co-op in Wenatchee. We take a lot of pride in serving all of our kids. So we want buildings to fit the kids' needs of all kids' needs. And so those are some of the things we want to do in the priorities, and that's what we want to do.
The levy would cost taxpayers $1.50 per $1,000 of assessed value. The special election is on February 13th. Time now to look at your weather forecast for north central Washington. And before we get to the details of that, let's take one more peek outside our weather window. It was a nice one today. Still some blue sky out there. Some darker clouds are beginning to roll in now, and that will be our trend as we move in, especially late tomorrow into tomorrow night. But boy, a beautiful day today as we look down at the Wenatchee Valley and the Columbia River. And luckily for today, the moisture tap is moved off to the east as a cold front passed through the area overnight and is now affecting mainly weather in the Idaho Panhandle with scattered snow and rain showers. There's also a weak weather trough extending from the Gulf of Alaska down to northern California that will lead to bands of light to moderate snow showers for late today through most of Friday. By Friday night, a much larger Pacific weather system moves into the Pacific Northwest with widespread snowfall amounts of up to 1 to 3 inches likely here in the Wenatchee Valley, with even heavier amounts in the Cascades, Waterville Plateau, and into the rising terrain just north of the Columbia River around the Brewster area. These locations could see upwards of 3 to 6 inches of new snow. Higher amounts will fall along the Cascade Crest and upper valleys around Lake Wenatchee, Plain, and Stehekin. Preliminary snowfall totals suggest the potential for 6 to 10 inches in those areas. We have a 30% chance of scattered showers for tonight, with partly cloudy skies expected for Friday. The chance for snow then goes up to 80% on Friday night and a 100% chance of snow on Saturday. Snow turns to rain on Saturday night and Sunday with a 60% chance of precip. With rain in the forecast along with mild temperatures, we could also see significant snow melt and the potential for minor flooding. Here's a look at your forecast now. Tonight, 28 degrees. By tomorrow night, though, a good chance for some snow, even heavier at times on Saturday, and 39, 40 your high temperatures Sunday, 42 Monday, and then things get a little better by midweek next week. Sunshine on Wednesday and 40 degrees. And if you have a video of the day, just a reminder you'd like to see on NCW Life News, message us on our Facebook page at the NCW Life channel. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
Hi, I'm Blair from Works, your workout prescription.